Today is April Fool's Day, so we're talking about the 5 things that you cannot afford to play about in this lifetime. Welcome back to Practice, where we fuse research and culture to help you develop the mindsets, the habits, the skills that you need in order to live out your purpose with confidence. I'm your coach, Dr. Rees. It's time for us to get better, y'all. Let's grow. I, for one, am super excited for this episode, as I am always, because I get to show up and encourage you all as I encourage myself and to give off this energy that God has blessed me to be able to give. But today is April Fool's Day. And I don't know about y'all, but regardless of whenever you listen to this episode, it's going to be beneficial, whether you listen to it on April Fool's Day or not. I believe that it's going to bless your life because these 5 things you cannot afford to play with. And I am really looking forward to be able to diving into them and talking about why these are not a game. These are not a joke. But to know me is to know I think I'm funny. To know me is to know that I am a conversational comedian. Like I'm not going to go on stage and do a whole comedy show and that kind of deal. You never know. I might try to test the waters when I turn 40. Maybe I do put I don't know. Think about that later, but I feel like that would kind of be dope. But to also know me is to know that I love like Kevin Hart and Issa Rae. Like those are my two like people that I feel like I try to fuse their energy, that awkward black girl who thinks she's funny. That is me. And so obviously in this form of practice, I like to bring in a little bit more of my personality into this show, into this format, so that way you can get to know me, but also catch my coaching vibe and all that kind of stuff. So all that to say is to know me is to know that I played some April Fool's jokes on my family this morning. I definitely did. And I had to make sure I did it early enough so that way they didn't realize and catch on that it was April Fool's. So that way they, like, by the end of the day, the jokes wouldn't work. And I must say, while I was thinking about what to do, it was really hard because I didn't want to make a joke that was like mean or hurtful because like that's just not funny, right? And I think like that's it. Like you don't, I didn't want to be mean, or like to Zakora. Like what's not funny is saying I cheated. That's not funny. Like that is not a funny joke. Like who wants to create that kind of argument? So you got to stay away from that. So it's like, what else could I bring up when it comes to talking to my partner and trying to make a joke that I know that she would take serious enough, but it wouldn't be so serious that it is like detrimental to our day. It causes an argument and all that kind of stuff. Um, and then with Jew, I was able to get him this morning really good as well because kids don't be knowing the dates until you tell them. And so, man, I got him good. But but for the both of them, I had to tell them really quick. Like it was I probably let it go on for about 45 seconds before I was like April Fools, because I didn't want to hurt the people that I love. And the jokes were still good, but uh anyways, so because it's April Fools and practice usually comes out on a Monday, I wanted to drop it today with some April Fools thoughts. So there are 5 things that I feel like you cannot afford to play with in this lifetime and when it comes to you. And I thought that it'd be cool to be able to throw that in there as a jokester myself. I like to say that I sit at the intersection between like serious. I take certain things serious, but then there's like a whole lot of stuff that like I just don't think needs to be taken that serious. Like I always tell people when they're first getting to know me is like 95% of the time I'm joking. But there are times that I'm really really serious about certain things, and that is obviously myself. That would be God, Jesus. Like I don't play about that, and I also think people and their growth and making fun of people, like different things when it comes to humanity. I would say, but outside of that, man, I'm laughing, I'm joking, I love it, and I think that we shouldn't take certain things too serious. I think comedy and playing jokes and laughter is medicine for the soul. So I 100% agree with that. But I was like, because we're coaching, let's kind of spin it and talk about some things that we do not want to play with. So let's dive in without further ado. Here are 5 things that I feel like you do not need to and should not be playing with in this lifetime. The first one is your purpose. That's kind of a given, right? Like, I'm a purpose and confident scientist. The purpose and point of Viewish is to help people to live out their purpose with confidence. That's the point of this show. So, playing with your purpose is the most detrimental thing that you can do And it breaks my heart when I see people, one, not understand that they have a purpose, not understand what their purpose is, because that is a part of life's journey, because I feel like it evolves and it kind of reveals itself to us more the more we live, the more we go through, the more we experience, the more that we see all these things are a part of our purpose. But it breaks my heart to see folks not recognize that they have a purpose, not recognize that they were born on purpose with a purpose to live out their purpose. And when you don't recognize that you have a purpose, you take yourself less serious. And again, as much as I'm a jokester and I love comedy, and I think that a lot of life should not be taken as serious as what it is, and people need to relax a little bit, the one thing that you cannot play about is yourself, because you are not a joke. Like you are not a joke. You are not a joke. Your purpose isn't a joke. Your gifts aren't a joke. The pain in your heart isn't a joke. The things that you've experienced in life is not a joke. Like, you're not a joke, and you should not treat yourself as such, and you should also not allow others to treat you as such. And this can go into self-care, this can go into boundaries, can go into like what you tolerate from others. This goes into how you think about yourself, how you talk to yourself. You are not a joke. And I need you to understand that you're not a joke, because how we perceive ourselves dictates how we treat ourselves. How we perceive ourselves dictates how we treat ourselves. So if you see yourself as a joke, you see yourself as less than, you see yourself as not worthy, that is going to impact how you treat you, and also how you allow other people to treat you. So I need you to fix how you see you so you can treat you the way that you deserve to be treated. And I think that that is the number one most important thing, because that shifts our mindset, that shifts our perspective, this shifts the words that we say, this shifts the words that we consume, and how we move through the world. So the number one thing that you cannot play with is your purpose. And again, that doesn't mean have it all figured out. That doesn't mean know exactly what it should look like and what your potential is and all those things. No, it just means that you realize that you have value regardless. It means that you are worthy, period. It means that you understand that your purpose was inserted before anybody else had an opinion. And I think that that's really important, because um man, I think purpose is everything, because even in the name purpose, it serves a purpose. Like, the purpose is the point of it all. The purpose is the point of the existence. And if you stand on the fact that you are not going to play about your purpose, it means that you are not going to play about your existence and others, which goes back to centering humanity. And I believe centering humanity is something that is extremely important, because humanity is under attack right now. Well, not even just right now. Humanity, a lot of folks, humanity is under attack on a daily basis. And so if you have the ability to center your purpose and take pride in your purpose, I believe this impacts how you treat other people in their humanity, in their purpose. Because when you see value in you, you see worth in you, and you understand that there is a firm reason behind your existence, I'm convinced this is going to shift how you see other people. Like, I believe that when you take pride in your purpose, this will impact your ability to develop more empathy for other people, because I believe that our purpose is connected to two things: people and profit. And so when you don't play about your purpose, it impacts your ability to be more empathetic for others, because your purpose is connected to people and profit. And a lot of times, the people that our purpose is connected to are those who are like who we used to be, those who go through things that we used to go through or had to go through, and things that have caused us pain, and people who are in similar spaces, and people who are familiar to us. Like, when you understand your purpose, you grow a greater capacity for the people you were born to serve. And that is going to help you grow in empathy, because that helps you grow in empathy because you feel the pain that they feel. So, not necessarily sympathy. You don't give sympathy. You have the empathy and the capacity for empathy, because you know what it feels like. You don't have a holier than thou thought process. You don't have a I'm better than you. Like, you get it. You get where these people are, you get what they're going through. And even if you don't 100% get their actual existence, or sorry, experience, you don't have it verbatim, you don't understand it verbatim, you still understand that their humanity is experiencing something that may be causing them pain or that is causing them pain. And I think that when you are committed to your purpose, you are tapping into understanding the people that are connected to that. And when you see that, it allows you to be able to navigate a sense of, how do I want to say this? A sense of like there's pain. Like people always say, like, oh, all purpose has pain, or there's like all pain has a purpose. Yes and no. I think some pain is just like what for what, and it's hard to see the purpose of all pain at some points in times. But again, and not to harp on this, I'm gonna move on to the next one here in a second. I just think it's really beneficial, not beneficial. I think it is detrimental if we do not discover our purpose. Because if we don't discover what our purpose is, it impacts our ability to serve the people that we were created to serve. And if we're not, and if we do not create the space to be able to serve the people we were created to serve, this can impact our ability to show empathy and center other people's humanity. And it impacts our kindness and our patience and just the way our village and community and society operates, because it puts us more in a isolated space versus a space of really being able to take into account other people's lived experiences and not just our own. So that's number one. Okay. Number two, the second thing that you need to be able to not play with, you cannot play with this no more, is your holistic health. Now, a couple episodes we talked about the different spaces for us to be able to check in with ourselves on. So when I say your holistic health, for context, holistic means all the parts coming together. And so holistic health, I'm talking about mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, sometimes I'll say humanly in that, but also relationally, financially, like your health on top of your health. I was having a conversation yesterday with the teacher, and she does a lot of aerobics, and probably not aerobics, but like yoga, and teaches classes and strength and is into all these different things. And we're having a conversation about how expensive it can be to take care of yourself, and not even just to take care of yourself, but to have an extra layer of health investment. And when I say an extra layer of health investment, I mean investing in yourself in ways that you got to have a whole lot of money for. And I told her, I was like, man, it would really cost you around $1,000, an extra $1,000 a month, to be able to go to therapy more than one time, to have physical massages, to be able to have a coach, to be able to have shots and energy shots or IVs and all of that together, and then to have some type of juices and to eat healthy. Man, if you were to invest in all those different areas, that at least is another grand a month. You know how many people don't even have a grand at all just to be able to take care of basic needs, or they're already short a grand? And so this is, I'm pro this if you got it, but if you don't, do what you can do. And this is really, and this is what I said to her too. I said this is really a conversation also where like you see the split between the haves and the have nots. And the conversation came up because she was telling me that she got an energy shot, and this was a couple weeks ago, that she gets energy shot and would do like an IV drip. And I've always been interested in that just to see what it was like and if I would enjoy it. And so right after we had the conversation, I went and I got my first energy shot. And so they put the shot in my arm. They offered to put it in my butt, but I was like, wait a minute, I do not know you like that. So we're not going there. But I got the energy shot in my arm, and it had B12 and it had a B complex. So it's like all the other B vitamins and all that kind of stuff. And the shot, probably it was just a quick shot, boom, insert. And the shot itself cost $55. So $55, if I was to get this shot a couple times a month, that's just that one shot. Now they have a full IV drip that you can get, and it's like 200, $300, and that can come with a whole bunch of other things. So now if you think I get that once a month for about $300, then if you go to therapy, for let me back up before I even go there. So that's how the conversation initially started, was having this extra boost of energy and vitamins and things that your body needs, extra hydration. And what sucks is every single person should be able to have access to all of these things that they need. Everybody should have access to that. Like, it shouldn't be like if you got an extra 300 bucks. And so this is what sucks, is like, I'm telling you that one thing that you should not play about is your holistic health. Yes. And it doesn't mean I'm telling you to go out and get this IV shot for $300. I'm definitely not saying that. What I'm saying is, I want you to be able to find what that might be for you. Like, maybe you don't need the IV shot that has an extra hydration. You just need to drink your body ounces in water a day, or at least a week. Maybe just drink more water. So if you have the capacity in your funds and all that, yeah, figure out how you can optimize your existence and your physical health. Because what our conversation ended up coming back to was, you're either going to pay for it now in doing it, or you're going to pay for it later as you get older with bad health. And as I'm getting older, I've been realizing, like, yo, my family does not have the most healthiest, clean bill of health. My mom died at 56 of natural causes, but prior to that, she had a pacemaker put in at like 50 at like 50. And so, like, that sucks. My grandma, when she passed away at 85, she ended up having cancer, congestive heart failure, some kidney stuff. Like, she had a bunch of different things come up, and she also had a pacemaker as well. And then my dad has been in the hospital, and he had a couple strokes, and he has congestive heart failure and diabetes. My grandma had diabetes, like, just stuff across the board. And so when I look at my ancestors, my elders, my people, my village where I come from, there's not a lot of natural health, or there's a lot of health issues that come up. And so it's important for me, if I want to be the elite athlete that I want to be for life, if I want to be the partner and the parent that I want to be in my 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s, I have to take care of me now. I can't wait and look up and be like, no, no, I'll take care of it in 10 years. And and so this is where the holistic health comes into play, because your physical health, your physical, your mental, and your emotional, those are three things that you can, and your spiritual, those are three things that you can, that if you have the funds, you can buy into, right? This is where therapy comes up, but therapy is not cheap, nor should it be, because the therapists deserve to be paid. Like, that just is what therapists deserve to be paid. And good therapy is probably costly. I don't know if they think of it like that, but I would imagine, like, the therapists that A-list celebrities have a really high hourly rate versus, your community therapist, right? Um, and not all therapists take insurance for a reason. Like, there are barriers that come up for them. And again, they are entrepreneurs as well, especially if they have their own practice. So there's a financial implication on both sides, right? Like, the last time I went to therapy was $175 an hour. So that told me, as an entrepreneur, I can't be doing any one-on-one coaching sessions, or almost, yeah, any one-on-one coaching sessions for less than that. Because if I can't get therapy for a 1 hour session with you, that's going to be tough. And not saying that your session is going to drive me to therapy, but it was just a measurement of, like, 1 hour of my time needs to be worth, or close to worth, this same amount. So that way, I can keep taking care of me. Because what kind of coach would I be if I was unhealthy and I'm trying to coach you up? I'm not going to be able to provide you that great of a service if I'm not as healthy as I am, right? So there's that piece. So therapy is anywhere from 150 to 175, if not more, an hour, depending on your insurance and if they take insurance and everything else. So that's like the healing piece. That's the emotional. That's the emotional and the mental kind of tied together. Then again, if you were to get these different types of shots and IVs and all that kind of stuff, that's another, anywhere from, the B12 shot was 35 bucks. So from 35 bucks, if you got that 2 to 3 4 times a month, that's anywhere from 35 to 369 12, like 150 bucks a month. You put those two together, that's 300. Or if you got the hydration, that's almost 600 bucks just with those right now, with one therapy session. Let's say your therapy is 150 to make it even, and you go 4 times, 1 time a week. That's $150 times four. That's $600. That's a lot of money extra. Okay, so maybe you go twice a month. Okay, that's 300 bucks. So that's just therapy and IV shots. But then you got to get groceries. And everybody knows the price of eggs is crazy. So then you got to eat healthy, and healthier food, as we know, costs more money than cheaper processed foods. But everything that's cheaper to get is faster to cook, and it's just obviously, like I said, it's just cheaper. So then you think about the food, then you think about physical. So let's say you're working out a lot and then you want to get massages and take care of your body. Or one thing that I do is I go floating, and or you want to sit in the sauna, because if you're going to be working out, you have to make sure that your body is rehabbing and all those things as well. So that means you're paying for your gym membership, and then you're paying for massages, and a good massage is at least 100 some bucks minimum for 60 minutes. So you put all that stuff together and it's a whole lot of money. And I did not intend to go on a full tangent about all these different things, but I think it's important for you to be able to, if you can, create space in your budget that allows you budget. I use money execution strategy, but I think it's important for you to create space in how you strategize your income to invest physically, financially invest in yourself physically in these ways. And it's not just physically, it's mentally, it's emotionally, it's all of those things, right? And the reason why that's important is because so you can be healthy, so you can be here longer. Because the healthy you, let me not say that longer, because that's not necessarily true. There's a big movement on like, here are the things you need to do to live longer, as if any of us control that. And I don't think that that's true. So I hate following that kind of stuff. But so that way the life you live is healthier, period. So it's important to invest in your holistic health, because this is going to literally have a direct correlation in your ability to live out your purpose. Because you're going to be able to think clearer, your memory is going to be better, your body's going to feel better, your energy is going to be higher. You'll be able to pour out more because you're giving yourself more. And so the second thing you cannot play about is investing in your holistic health. Again, I know that investing is costly, and literally I just broke that down. And so, no, I'm not encouraging you to go ball out and run up debt and all that kind of stuff to do that. But if you have, again, the capacity in your finances to do any of those things, you can figure it out. If some things, take HSA and all these other things, I just think right now is the time for you to invest in being as healthy as you can holistically. Now, let me jump off that. Get on to number three. The second area you cannot afford to play about, really, ever, is your social capital, your village, your community. You cannot afford to play about your social capital, your community, your village. All those are sort of one and the same, but different at the same time. When I think my village, I think those are the people that I'm doing intimate life with on a consistent basis. When I think community, it's those that I interact with in multiple different ways. And when I think social capital, that's being able to leverage not just for personal gain, but to leverage in life, to add value to folks who I can add value to, because social capital literally is an asset. And you do not want to play about the assets that are people. And the people are the most, people are the most. And people say, let me drop this thought backwards before I go there. Time is an asset that we will never get back. And sometimes so is people. Not sometimes. So is people. I don't think time is our, like, people say time is a, is it not a time is a commodity, but like our most prized possession, or like, our most valuable asset. But I really think it's people. And the reason why I think it's people is, what is time without people? Like, what is life without people? What is, like, yes, and a lot of this comes from the entrepreneurial world or just in generals, right? Yes, you don't get your time back, but when somebody dies, you don't get them back either. And even when people leave your life, whether they were there for a reason or a season or a lifetime, or, that saying, but if people leave your life, if they were in it for a little bit for that season, like, you may not get them back. And so I think if there's anything that we need to cherish, it's the people that we do life with. And we need to be very serious about the people that we do life with, cherish them and value them, and let them know that. Like, let them know that you love them and you appreciate them, and big them up and give them their flowers and be a fan of them. Like, that is just so important to me. And it's so important because we are nothing without our community. We're nothing without our village. Like, we're nothing without our social capital. Like, yes, you still have purpose. Yes, you still have value. But again, I said it, your purpose is connected to people and profit. And if you do not value the people that are around you that you do life with in multiple capacities, then your purpose will be cut short, because then you're only focused on the profit, and that is not going to lead you to your potential. And I believe that when you invest in developing your social capital, oh my gosh, your life gets better. Like, and I can attest to that in every single way, shape, or form. And when you don't invest in your social capital, your life can can shrink and deplete. And it makes me think of how folks, man, I be talking really fast. I don't really know how to slow down. Um, because I'm trying to make this, and let me slow down for a moment to make this more of a conversational piece. I'm trying to make practice an interactive. Obviously, we can't really interact too much because I'm sitting here recording, obviously, but trying to slow down, trying to make it more of a conversational piece where you're like, yes, and I'm teaching, but sometimes I just be going and I'm gone and I'm like, oh shoot, let me slow down for the folks because I'm dropping gems. I don't want you to be like, oh shoot, let me pause and rewind. I hope that's what you're doing, at least when you're listening to this or watching this. Um, but the other day I was having a conversation, and I was talking or thinking about, I think the conversation was with myself. The other day, I was thinking about how it takes a village to raise a child. And a lot of times we stop at child and we forget that children, not obviously we don't forget, but I think sometimes it's lost upon us that children turn into the adults that we are today. And so the reason why I say it and I said it like that is because we know that it takes a village to raise a child, but not everybody has the village, number one, and not every village is healthy. And I think that means we need to take a step backwards and then look at the village. So this is why I believe it's important for you to invest in your social capital, because the value of your village, okay, value village. I'm not sure if anybody's ever shopped there before. Um, but the value you put on your village impacts the growth of that asset. That's it right there. Like, that's a financial lesson and a life lesson. The value that you put on your village, the investment you put into your village, is going to come back to you tenfold. So if you don't invest in the health of your village, then your social capital is going to be low. And we can't afford to play about having a low social capital, because again, your purpose is connected to people and profit. And so when you have a healthy village, when the people in the village are healthy, the children in the village can be healthy. But it also means that the adults are healthy as well, and the adults are getting the support that they need. They don't just need support for the youth, they need support for themselves. They don't just need support to make sure, yes, 100% for babysitting, because our kids sitting, because date nights are real. And if you don't have a child sitter for the kids to play and go somewhere, then that limits the amount of date nights you can have, which impacts the health of your relationship. That's a big deal. And so you have to make sure that you have healthy and safe spaces that your kids can go to, so that way you can have date night. But it's more than just that. It's also about friendship. I'm having a Final Four Final Four watch party on Friday. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. And just having some of the crew over to watch the game and eat some food. Like, that is valuable. That is fun. That is exciting, because we're going to be watching some games, and then we're also going to be enjoying something that we like, but it's also just being in community with other people. And we don't put enough onus. A lot of times it's easy to not put enough onus on having relationships and having, yes, we want healthy relationships, but I think it's just as important for us to invest our time in having healthy relationships as we do investing in our holistic health, as we do in making sure that we're financially healthy as well. I hope that point makes sense in the way that I wanted it to. But it really is going back to putting value on your village and making sure that your village is as healthy as possible, because social capital is an asset. And the more people that you have the ability to lean on and to leverage, whether depend what regardless of what it's for, and not even the more as in quantity, But sometimes it is quantity because it doesn't necessarily mean that in your intimate village that there's a whole bunch of people. I'm not telling you that. I'm just saying there are people who have blessed me in this last year, 2 years of life, especially as an entrepreneur, that I don't do intimate life with. But without them and them believing in me and them adding value to me and my life and my company don't grow the way it does. It just doesn't without social capital, right? So, but we may not do intimate life together, but we do um, business life together, and it's because they believe in the person that I am. And then there's folks who are in my intimate circle who add just as much value. They may not have ever added any monetary value, but they've added community and love and spending time with my family and with our kid and all those different things. And so neither one, yes, one has more of a monetary value that you can see transactionally, but it doesn't limit the value of that relationship more than the one who doesn't bring any monetary value from a business stance, because they're both as valuable. And I think that is why it's so important to not play, don't play with people, don't play with purpose, don't play with your health, and don't play with people. Those are three things that you really need to not play with this year. So, sorry, not just this year, but in your life. So, let's move on to number 4. This one right here. This one. Um, do not play with how you talk to yourself and about yourself. I gotta sit up in my chair a little bit. Do not play with how you talk to yourself and how you talk about yourself. Cut it out. Stop talking down on you. Stop littling you. Stop belittling you. Stop betraying you. Stop violating your own boundaries. Stop tolerating that imposter syndrome. Stop telling yourself that you're stupid. Stop telling yourself that you can't. Stop doing it. Stop playing with you. Because if you play with you, it's almost like you're giving other people permission to play with you because you're treating yourself that way. So you can't get mad at somebody else for treating you that way when you're already treating you that way because you're tolerating it. So I need you to put that much more respect on you so that way the energy can permeate through you of like, nah, I don't accept that. Stop disrespecting you, because when you stop disrespecting you mentally and by having these self-limiting beliefs and allowing them to come out and permeate through you and your mouth and your actions, it's giving off that energy. And I need you to stop doing that. I also need you to stop letting fear speak for you. Stop letting fear speak for you. And the reason why I'm telling you to stop letting fear speak for you is because when fear speaks for you, it dictates your actions. When fear speaks for you, you're allowing that thought that you had to then come out and permeate, and then you hear it back. So you had the thought of fear, you had the feeling of fear, you said it out of your mouth, and then it dictated your actions before anything ever happened. And then now you probably stopped yourself from doing the thing that you wanted to do. This weekend, Jew got a new electric scooter. And this is where my thought process came from. And he's riding it, and he has it on medium kind of speed. And he's going over the sidewalk, and he's like, I don't want to go too fast because I could fall and I don't want to fall over the thing. Mind you, it's not very fast, but again, he's 8 and he's wearisome. He's got pads on and the helmet on and all that kind of stuff. But he's like, I don't want to fall over that speed bump kind of deal in the dip over there. And I'm afraid I'm going to fall over it. And I was just like, don't let fear speak for you. If you fall, you fall, you'll get back up, but you can do it. So it's again training yourself to recognize the fear, to speak it. I have a fear that if I go really fast, I might fall over that. Cool. But don't stop yourself from doing something necessarily because of that fear, if you catch what I'm saying. And I think it's important for us to hear hear the fear, hear it up here, but then talk back to it. So that way, how you move and what comes out of you doesn't stop you from doing the thing that you want to do. So hear the fear, but then recognize it, catch that joint, tell it, stop it with some truth, and then proceed with something different, right? Stop it with the truth and then proceed with that. And I think how you talk about you says everything I need to know. Like when I hear somebody talk bad about themselves, it tells me everything I need to know. If you're willing to talk bad about you, especially out loud, it tells me everything I need to know about you, your self-esteem, how what you think about you, and your confidence level. It tells me everything I need to know simply by how you talk about you, not just when you feel like you're doing well, but even when you mess up. Like when I'm listening to people, doesn't matter where it's at, I'm listening to how they talk about themselves because how you talk about you says everything. Again, this could be introverts, extroverts, that's irrelevant, but it's more so I'm listening to like how do you talk about yourself when you don't do something you didn't like? How do you talk about yourself when you are afraid? How do you talk about yourself when your emotions may be taken over? How do you talk about yourself in any instance? And that is a telltale side to me about, again, somebody's self esteem, their ability to be emotionally confident, their just confidence in their self and their skills and in where it is that they're trying to grow. So I want to challenge you to listen to how you talk about you. And I need you to stop playing with that. I need you to stop playing with having self limiting beliefs, especially if they're connected to things that you want to do. Now, do I think that you'll be able to get rid of all self limiting beliefs in due time? In due time. But I think it's important to be able to fixate on which ones are the most important that are keeping you from doing what you want to do, from growing in that area of confidence, from developing your self-esteem. Like which which self-limiting beliefs do you carry and also who brought them in for you to carry? There are self-limiting beliefs that you're carrying that somebody brought in and you picked up and you're still carrying it. And it's now time for you to put that joint down. I don't know what it is, only you do, but the way you talk about you and the way you perceive you is directly connected to a self limiting belief that you picked up somewhere along the way in your journey. And you're probably looking around like, how long have I been carrying this? And who in the world put it in my head that now it's in my hands and I'm walking around with the weight of this self limiting belief and it's preventing me from doing the things that I was created to do? And we got to knock that out. I need you to stop playing about you and change and get after fixing those self-limiting beliefs that you're carrying. We got it. We got to put them down. And so, number 5, the fifth thing that I need you to not play about, and it's funny now that I just took a peek at my list on how I started this and how I ended this, and it should be no surprise that the fifth thing that I need you to stop playing about, and that's not funny and it's not a joke, is your confidence development. Of course, this is going to be number 5. And I'm not even going to hold you. I was making this list and I stopped at 4 and I was like, that's cool, but I kind of want 5 things. Like I want, what's a fifth thing that I could say to help folks? And it was like, oh, duh, confidence, your confidence development. Why? Because we are here to practice growing in our confidence. And so the fifth thing that I need you to not play with, I need you to stop playing with your confidence development. Your confidence is not a joke. Your confidence is not something for you to be playing with anymore. And I don't just mean your confidence in your personal self, I mean your confidence in your skills, your confidence in your ability to execute, your confidence in your ability to grow and expand, whatever it may look like. Whatever it is that you have been gifted to do, that natural talent level is supposed to grow. Your natural talent level isn't just supposed to stay the same and be stagnant. No, you need to elevate, you need to invest in so that way your confidence level can grow and skyrocket so that way you can scale. So that way you can maximize and actually actualize your potential. If you don't invest in your confidence, your talent level will stay stagnant. Like you'll always be naturally good at that thing, whatever that thing is. But until you invest in it, until you practice whatever it is, it'll never be able to grow. So you've been given a gift with a natural talent level, but it's up to you to invest in it so you can scale your life, so you can expand your comfort zone, so that way you can really be dope at that thing. And I don't know what that thing is for you, but without practicing it and investing in it and really getting in the reps and growing through that friction and being able to like encounter the failure that comes with the process, your talent will stay stagnant. And hard work will always be talent, or hard work will always beat talent when talent doesn't work hard. So that is that piece. Like I need you to stop playing about working hard. Working hard is not funny. It's not fun, but it's not funny. It's not a game. I was at the Nike employee store this weekend and they had a big old poster of LeBron. And it's is a big poster of LeBron. At the top, it said, "Winning is not a game." And at the bottom, it said, "To me." And now, some like if you when you get it, you get it. Working hard ain't nothing funny about working hard because it's hard work. You got to get after it. But without it, you're not able to grow and get better. Again, your talent level stays stagnant. It kind of flatlines. And if your talent flatlines, you'll be beat out by the person who worked hard. You will be beat out by the person who said, "Okay, you might be a little bit more talented than me naturally, but because I work hard, I'm going to skyrocket past you because you thought that working hard was funny. You thought that you were too cool to work hard. You thought that I'm good. I'm already good. I'm good because I'm already good." While the other person was like, "Okay, like I'm okay, I'm good, but now let me go see how great I can be. Let me go see how exceptional I can be. Let me see how excellent I can be. Let me see how much of a dog at this I can be. Let me see how much of a beast at this I can be." When you develop that thought process and you realize this is not a game, your confidence is not a game, your purpose is not a game, your gifts is not a game, that this joint has been given to you so that way you can play the game. Now, remember, I told you, I'm here for the fun. I'm here for the laughs. I'm here for the giggle. I think life, there is an element of game to life and money and all these different things. But if you play about it, you're going to get played. Period. If you play about your purpose, you're going to get played. If you play about these gifts, you're going to get played. If you think of yourself as a fool, you're going to get treated as one. If you toss around and you fumble your gifts, it's a wrap. So, as much as we want to have fun here on April Fool's Day, as much as it is a joke, the one thing I cannot have you playing about is your purpose. I cannot have you playing about your holistic health. I cannot have you playing about your community and your village. I cannot have you playing about your self limiting beliefs. And I cannot have you playing about your confidence development. Have fun, enjoy life, do all the things, turn up, YOLO, all those different things. But you got to remember that you were born on purpose with a purpose to live out your purpose. And because you have a purpose, it's your job to activate it and live it out. And that is not something that you want to play with. So I hope that this message blesses you. I hope that you enjoy your April Fool's Day, whether you listen to this on April Fool's Day or another day. I actually meant to do some research on April Fool's Day and where it came from in the first place, but I'm sorry I didn't pull up with any of that today. But these are 5 things that you cannot play about any day of the week. Don't fumble you. You deserve to be carried with grace in mercy, in love, in forgiveness, in patience. Don't fumble you. Hold you tightly with open hands. Yes, I said tightly with open hands. But that is it. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. That is it for episode 50. Come on. Practice the podcast with your host, your coach, Dr. Rees. Until next time, I love you all. Peace.